Men don't need therapy. Yes, I said it. Men don't need therapy. I'm reading from my notes. So, men don't need mental health or therapy. Men need better resources and options to make better decisions. Let's talk about it. I was listening to Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson at one time was talking about these crabs. And the way the crabs do is they have to molt. What does molt mean? Molt means they have to shed their shell as they're growing. See, our skin stretches so as we grow, la la la. But he also said this I thought was funny. He said if crabs had therapists, they would keep feeding them drugs so they would never grow out of their shell. Interesting, huh? So when I say men don't need therapy, a lot of times men are just victims of their surroundings, their environment. I always talk about reps. Reps is religion, environment, people, social media. That's why I always talk about the reset. Once you start evaluating yourself as a man, because first of all, therapy is female based. I'll make another video about that. So you start evaluating yourself as a man and start taking responsibility because once you know is you're responsible, once you start evaluating yourself, your religion, your environment, the people, and social media. Social media, the apps, media meaning the news. Once you start evaluating yourself, you start to realize things about yourself. Now, am I saying all? Somebody going to say, that's not true. That's not true. There are men who need actual therapy. Yes. For the majority, in general, of men, we do not need therapy. We need to evaluate ourselves, our religion, environment, people, and our social media. We need to evaluate ourselves. Sit down with ourselves with a pen and paper, and write down what is going on with me and what I can do to fix it. You may have to do things, maybe a new religion. You may have to change your environment, what I call self-imposed prisons. We lock ourselves up in self-imposed prisons. Where we're born is where we stay, more than likely. I think it's like 59% or something like that of people who are born in a certain area, they stay in that area. But if that area is not conducive to that person, they need to leave, but they stay there. Self-imposed prisons. So let's wrap this up. Men don't need therapy. They don't. They need to evaluate themselves. They need to break these things down to themselves and figure this out.